What do people mean when they talk about a cure for autism, treatment for autism, prevention of autism? Do they really know? The topic comes up a lot in conversations, particularly with parents and caregivers. I've seen the question asked a lot. If there was a magic cure and somebody came up with a shot tomorrow that would make autism go away, would you give it to your child? And it's always in the context of a child. What the heck does that mean? What is that supposed to mean? If we're talking about making autism go away in someone who's already here with us, has already been living as an autistic person, what does it mean to make their autism go away? I mean, autism is an integral part of who you are. It's about the way you think about the world. It's about the way you process information about the world. It's about the way you value people and relationships and things. So what does it mean to make that go away? It essentially means that you're making a different person. So would I want to make my children that I have grown to know and love into completely different people? No, not really. And is it ethical and moral to try to completely change someone? Completely rewrite their personality and the way they think and process and value the world? I don't know about that. Is that even humanly possible? Do we have the science and the technology and the knowledge to do that? No, not really, because you're talking about structures in the human brain that we can't even get to without kind of killing the individual. So I don't know. What does that mean? The magic pill or the magic shot? Listen, I can't do magic this or magic that. I have to live in the land of reality. And in the land of reality, my kids are who they are. And I have to value who they are as they are and learn to love them for who they are as they are. And frankly, it's my mission to help the world understand that they have value as they are and as who they are, without trying to erase bits and pieces of who they are and kind of make them over into something else. So, the cure that makes this really important piece of them go away, I'm not really a fan of that. That's not my thing. And so, when I try to get people to, what do you mean when you're talking about a cure? Do you understand what that says? That kind of freaks people out, because the talk about a cure kind of comes from a place of not so much about the needs of the autistic individual right in front of you, but the needs of everybody else who is living with this person and interacting with this person. You're talking about making this person someone different so that it's easier for you to relate to them. Well, you know what? Let's spend a little bit more time learning how to relate to autistic people as they are, not trying to remake them so that it's easier on us to relate to them. Let's let us do a little bit of extra work to understand the autistic people in our lives and understand where they're coming from. I mean, come on. Focusing on trying to remake them instead so that they fit into our world, it rubs me the wrong way. And then there's, talk about prevention. What do you mean when you're talking about prevention? Well, folks have all sorts of ideas about what they can tinker with to prevent autism. But a lot of times it's going to come down to, because autism is so complex. And the best information that we have says that it's a complex, genetically based thing. Okay? So, you want to genetically engineer someone so that they are not autistic? Good luck with that. You know, last count, there was like 60 something, 75 something genetic markers that were involved, and they're not like, oh, you knock that gene out and there you go, no more autism risk. No, it's these intricate genes and proteins and things that, you know, control all sorts of different functions all over the body, including the brain. So go ahead, monkey with those to try to make someone not autistic. See how that goes. Or the other thing that, you know, folks try to kind of, you know, tiptoe around is making autistic people go away if someone happens to come into existence with too many of those genetic markers. Okay, yeah, go ahead and pursue that moral and ethical quagmire. Yeah, no, that's not going to work for me. So, not a prevention fan either. Why? Because I'm not that scared of autism. It's not that scary for me. And I don't think it should be that scary for anybody else either. That's just me. Treatment kind of sounds like a good idea when you think about, you know, considering the needs of the individual. But a lot of times treatment isn't based on the needs of the individual. They're based on the needs of everybody else. Treatment for autism that's based on the needs of autistic people, that's an awesome thing. Treatment for autism that's based on the needs of everybody else, not so much. Because that ends up really not being all that useful for autistic people. But considering what autistic people actually need, like say, gosh, I need to learn how to speak up for myself and advocate for myself. Awesome! Matter of fact, that's what I'm trying to teach my son right now. And I'm trying to get his school to understand that he's going to need help learning how to do that. Right now, they're kind of just expecting him to know how to do them. Like, guys, it's part of his disability that he doesn't want to and he doesn't know how, so he's going to need support to figure that out. That kind of treatment for autism. Yeah, I'm totally for that. Treatment for autism that recognizes, you know, how autistic people actually work is an awesome thing. You know, treatment that recognizes that, yeah, it doesn't matter how many times you try to get someone to stop wanting to fidget with their fingers, they're probably not going to want to, because that fidgeting with their fingers serves a real need for them. You know? So, treatment that's focused on how autistic people actually work and what autistic people actually need, I think is a really good thing. And we're only going to get those kinds of treatments when we talk to autistic people and find out from them what they actually need. You're not going to find out about effective treatments for autism by only talking to mom and dad, or only talking to teachers, or only talking to, you know, speech therapists and occupational therapists. Effective treatment comes from understanding the experiences of autistic people and being informed by the experiences of autistic people. How often does that happen? In my experience, not nearly often enough. And so I'd like to see more treatments that are based on the actual needs of autistic people. Not what people think they should need, but what they actually need based on what we've been informed about, based on what autistic people actually experience and what they actually tell us. And from my experiences with my kids and what I've seen them experience, what they need most is for people to understand that their brains work differently, and there's stuff that you can expect from a typical kid that you can't expect from an autistic kid. Or at least you can't expect it to happen the exact same way. Don't give my kids a pencil and paper and expect to get anything legible from them. Give them a computer or a tablet and you're golden. Pencil and paper, no. Just don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to them. I've known them all their lives and I can't read their handwriting. Thankfully, they can read their handwriting and they will read their stuff to me, which saves me quite often. But how many times do they get handed stuff at school and they're expected to write? Some people, they give them stuff to write and they fully expect that they won't be able to read what they write. Other people give them stuff to write and then time them and then are confused when they don't do the work or they can't read what they've written. Stuff like that. Not helpful. So, treatment that is responsive to the needs of autistic people. Yeah, that would be awesome. Rather than treatment that is focused and driven by the needs of everybody else. So those are my thoughts on cure, prevention, treatment with respect to autism. So think a little bit more about what you mean when you talk about cure and prevention and treatment with respect to autism. Because honestly, it drives me up the wall when people talk about these things and use those terms interchangeably, and it's a lot more complicated than that. There aren't easy answers. And what should be at the forefront in those conversations is, what do autistic people actually need? What do they need to be successful? And how do their brains actually work? How do they actually function? How do they understand the world? How do they actually process information? And what's the best way for us to support them given the way that they actually work and interact with the world? Thanks for listening. Appreciate your time with me. Bye.
Hi, Jackie. Like me.
Guys, what do we want everyone to do with our videos?
Like, comment, and subscribe. Okay, bye-bye. No!
Thanks for watching.
No! No.